Today on BCPOV,
Sick.
I return to a trail
I should just go, huh?
to get redemption,
Okay, I got that one now.
in which I attempt the biggest gap jump of my life. Many of you have been following along as my wife and I have been driving our converted camper van across North America. And last week we visited the oddest bike park we've ever ridden. The combination of mountain bike trails along with a Santa's village made for a pretty unusual mountain biking experience. But today we move north to Redding in California. But this isn't actually the first time we've come here. In fact, almost 1 year ago, we visited with our friend Trevor. And while we had a good time, I left with some unfinished business. You see, there's this jump line here called Enticer. It's filled with jumps of all sizes. And while some of the smaller jumps weren't a problem, as soon as they got bigger, well, I just went around and watched Trevor have all the fun. So I've come back for redemption. My goal today is to clear every jump on the trail, which won't be an easy feat. But this isn't where the story begins.
So today, as you can see, I'm riding flat pedals.
Last November, I decided I needed to get better at jumping. I felt that I wasn't making much progress anymore. Every once in a while, I would have a scary moment and land really nose heavy while jumping. So, in an effort to force myself out of those bad habits, I decided to switch from clipless pedals to flat pedals, since it's more difficult to pull up on a flat pedal. And after what was a rough start,
Oh God. Jumps.
things started to click.
Yes.
We spent a lot of time jumping all over America, and with only a few sketchy moments, my confidence has definitely improved. It's time to see if I can clear those jumps on Enticer. But before we get started, I wanted to see just how big these jumps are.
You want to measure it?
So Yuka and I brought a tape measure along to measure all the jumps on the trail. And starting from the bottom, it didn't take long to get to the biggest one.
25 foot, 25 feet.
Really?
That's bigger than I expected.
25 feet doesn't seem that big.
25 feet is also quite a bit larger than any gap jump you've ever hit before, Eric.
Let's do that. Let's keep going up.
The next jump we measured is also pretty similar in size. This jump is far less intimidating though, since it's a tabletop. In fact, this trail has a ton of these large but low consequence jumps.
Oh, it's smaller, 23 or 22?
As we move up the trail, measuring each jump as we go, we finally get to the two other big ones. A right-handed hip
20 feet.
20 feet?
into a big gap.
22.
Oh, that's not that bad. It's slight stepped on too.
Yeah.
These two jumps, along with the 25-foot gap at the bottom, are going to be my kryptonite. But I have a plan. I'll work on the lower consequence jumps first, and with the confidence I gain from those, I'll try the bigger ones. As we continue up the trail, measuring each jump, I've come up with a scheme to help understand what part of the trail we're on. I've divided the trail up into 5 zones for sessioning. We'll call the top section with some decent sized jumps Zone 1. Just below that, we have Zone 2 with the scary hip jump to 22-foot gap. Zone 3 is the big step down to a bunch of long and low jumps. Zone 4 is the easiest part of the trail with a few right to left to right jumps. And the final zone, Zone 5, has the big 25-foot gap jump. Now with the trail laid out before us, let's get to work on the first zone. Starting off at the top, you get straight into a couple 20-footers that take a bit of commitment.
A little nervous about that one. Okay, I got that one now.
It takes a few laps, but I've got the first zone pretty dialed.
Phew! Oh.
The next zone is Zone 2, with that hip to gap.
Yeah, I just wish it wasn't hipped. I don't like the turn.
I'm not quite ready for those yet, so we'll skip those for now and head to zone 3. The first feature in the third zone is the 24-foot step down. It doesn't have any consequence for coming up short, but you do need that speed from zone 2 to clear it easily.
Oh, almost got it. Oh, I got it.
But these long and low jumps at the bottom definitely take a bit of commitment.
This one was pretty big, wasn't it? When you're coming at a speed, it just starts to make sense. Like, oh, I'll make it there. Yeah.
A few laps later, and I've got things running pretty smoothly.
Whew. Sick. Yeah. So the last one's so smooth? Yeah, it's really smooth.
Really smooth.
The fourth zone is the easiest of the 5. It's just a matter of looking ahead and lining up that next jump. But the ease of zone 4 doesn't last long, because the final zone is next. It starts out with some turns into a 22-foot tabletop. After that, not a lot happens until you get to the biggest jump on the trail, the 25-foot gap.
I think so. Okay, I'm going up.
After a bunch of attempts, it's finally time to eat.
Let's get some lunch.
After a bit of lunch, we head back to the top, and there's nothing to do but to go down to zone 2. It's time to face the music. But I'm really having a hard time getting my head around that hip jump. In fact, I tried to find ways to avoid riding it like a hip.
I'm considering like coming like really outside here and just going straight. Like this. Just cause I don't like turning into the jump. There's also, I could just go straight here. Come down here. Maybe.
But after watching a video of the trail my friend Trevor made,
hang on, watch Trevor do this. So this is the jump right here.
Oh yeah. Oh, did he jump?
Yeah, he does it so easy. Yeah, he rides it properly.
I settle on riding it the way it was designed.
It's way faster, isn't it?
And I've come up with a plan. Some of you may have saw the video where I hit my biggest drop ever over in Bentonville. I started at the top of the trail to hit all the jumps before the drop. It allowed me to get into the mental state I needed to actually commit to the feature.
Here we go. Get out!
So I'll do the same thing here. I'll go to the top of the trail, ride down, and gain the confidence I need to hit the gaps.
Yeah! Oh!
Nice!
Fine. A little scary.
It feels so good to get that feature. It really was weighing heavy on me. But as soon as I landed, that weight just lifted off my shoulders. My method of starting from the top, though time consuming, definitely got the job done.
Whew, I have a bit of adrenaline now. Yeah, I need that like run in, like I need that intensity and just like, okay, I'm doing everything good, I can do the next one, you know?
Maybe that same method will allow me to get that second jump as well. There's only one way to find out.
All right, you know how to do it. You've done it already. And so far, all right, you got it. You got it. Woo! Yeah! Oh man. Holy sh!
I can't tell you how amazing it feels to finally clear those two. I knew I had it in me. It was just a matter of overcoming my internal demons and believing that I could do it.
My heart stopped as I was leaving the lip. I was like, oh, that's really far.
But getting it once isn't enough. You've got to repeat it to build that confidence and to prove to yourself it wasn't a fluke. And with enough times over the jump, that gap that was so present in my mind feels invisible to me now. That fear has now become stoke. But now I've got one more jump to conquer down in Zone 5, the 25-footer at the bottom of the trail. Not only is it the biggest distance-wise, it also has the biggest takeoff and landing. Coming up short on this jump would not be good. But after a few run-ups and no success, I figured I'd start up higher and get into that flow state like I did earlier.
Okay, I go up again. Nice. Yeah. All right. You've got it. You can do it. Just go. Trevor can do it. You can do it. Yeah. You did great. You can do it. Come on, Eric. You can do it. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah! Woo! Oh! Sent that one way deep. Oh, shit. Woo! This one's way too small. I landed right to flat. It worked. How did it look?
Great, yeah. I saw you talking to someone else.
I was talking to myself. I said, Trevor, if Trevor can do it, you can do it. High touch, you guys. Holy crap.
Wanna see it?
Oh, yeah. Sick. Oh, yeah, it was perfect, wasn't it?
Yeah. Maybe you did a little bit of a public hit. Oh, no. That's perfect.
And then that one was just like flat to flat. Holy shit.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of you.
Sometimes I have good days, sometimes you have good days.
Yeah, exactly.
From watching my friend Trevor from the sidelines last year to sending it without a toe in this year, well, it feels great. I found a way to overcome my fear.
All right, you can do it. You did it already.
I've just got to get into that flow state.
Yep, that was perfect.
And the best way for me to do that is to ride the trail from higher up without stopping.
You can do it. Come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. Here we go. Whew. Sick.
And a big part of it for me was also switching to those flat pedals and getting rid of those bad habits that I got from riding clipless. And as a result, I didn't have any sketchy moments all day, which led to the confidence I needed to clear those jumps. Oh, and by the way, with the speed I got from clearing that 25-footer, the jumps afterwards were not a problem. I got to send every jump on the trail.
Sick.
If you'd like to see that full run down the trail, I've created a second channel called BCPOV Raw, which has a full lap down the trail with no music, just bike sounds, and very little editing. Check for the link down below. But, as always, thanks for watching and stay gnarly.